Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Cam Talk Sports. I'm your host, Cameron Gooseby, and today I'll be talking about my NFL Week 5 predictions with all NFL teams going at it. My first game, we have the Chicago Bears taking on the Washington Commanders. The Bears last week are coming off of a very depressing defeat at the hands of the Denver Broncos. They are now 0-4 in the season. I believe their coach should be fired, in Matt Eberflus. There's a whole bunch of questions that's going to be asked about what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. But besides that, they're going up against the Commanders this week in Washington on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. And if you were to ask me, do the Bears have a chance of winning this game? I think they have a chance of winning this game, but by, like I said, I give them a 20% chance. You're going up against a much better defense in Washington. I get that their offense has not been pretty, but this is also going up against a team that was able to go ahead and take on the Eagles last week. And hey, they took them to the deep water last week, and they had an overtime loss in Philadelphia. But with all that being said, if you're asking me who's going to win this game, more than likely it's going to be the Commanders. I expect Justin Fields to have another strong game, passing and running the football. But the problem is, if your defense can't stop anyone, then you're not winning any football games whatsoever. I mean, to be fair, look at it this way. They haven't. The Bears defense gave up 21 points, or they surrendered. The Bears as a whole surrendered a 21-point lead. So if you're asking me, do I feel confident? Hell no, I don't feel confident. So with all that being said, give me the Commanders over the Bears this week because they're in Washington and because they have a more stingy defense than what the Bears have. My next game, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Buffalo Bills. The Jaguars last week are coming off of let's just say a dominant win against the Atlanta Falcons. The Jaguars last week, I mean, they played on Disney Plus. That game pretty much went exactly how I expected it to go. They defeated the Falcons 23-7. They forced turnovers. They were scoring points, and but this week you have a much tougher test in mind. You're going to Buffalo, who is coming off of a dominant victory against the Miami Dolphins, and with that all being in mind, Buffalo having a stingy defense, you were able to contain Tyreek Hill. With Buffalo having the connection of Josh Allen, having the connection to Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis also got involved in the receiving game. I don't see a reason why not the Bills should be able to dominate the Jaguars as well. They're a real Super Bowl contender this year. It just all depends on Josh Allen and his decision making. So I got the Bills winning against the Jaguars. My next game, I got the New Orleans Saints taking on the New England Patriots. The Saints last week are coming off of a terrible loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They allowed Baker Mayfield to literally cook their defense. And then also, not to mention, they only scored 9 points last week. Chris Olave was very quiet. I know Derek Carr didn't have the greatest of games. And overall, I mean, they're just coming off of an ugly loss last week. But then also, not to mention, you're going up against the Patriots. And with them going up against the Patriots are also coming off of a very bad loss to the Cowboys last week. And sure, they're going to be in Foxborough, but I don't expect – right now, I just don't believe in Bill Belichick's coaching ability to lead this Patriots team this Patriots football team to a win. So I got the Saints barely squeaking out of Foxborough by 3 points. So I got the Saints winning against the Patriots. My next game, we got the Tennessee Titans taking on the I was about to say Baltimore Colts, the Indianapolis Colts. The Tennessee Titans last week are coming off of a fairly dominant victory against the struggling Cincinnati Bengals. They kept Joe Burrow in check. They stopped the run. They were generating pressure all day to Joe Burrow, and that 27-3 victory was I think it was a wake-up call for the Bengals. But if you were to ask me, do I think the Titans can do this again? Probably in like week 11, probably not. But even then, they caught the Bengals sleeping this time, and they did a very good job in doing so. Derrick Henry was able to have his best game of the season. He had a very long run, a 29-yard run to the end zone, and the Titans just had a very good game last week, running and passing the football. Ryan Tannehill barely turned the ball over last week. I think he only had one turnover. But with all that in mind, the Colts also last week, they're coming off of they were coming off of a tough overtime loss against the LA Rams. The Rams last week, they beat them 29-23 in overtime. And the fact that it took overtime for the Rams to beat the Colts, I honestly find it kind of surprising, because the Colts this year, I don't see a lot of victories going in there for them. But I do like their quarterback in Anthony Richardson. But other than that, I got the Titans beating the Colts this week simply because I think they're the better football team. But then also, not to mention, you're going up against a rookie quarterback. If you can go ahead and generate pressure to a rookie quarterback, then I don't see why not you can't win this game. Sure, they may be in Indiana this week, but I got the Tennessee winning this one. My next game, I got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Ravens last week are coming off of a dominant showing, a 28-3 shellacking of the Cleveland Browns. The Ravens last week, they were scoring touchdowns. They were forcing turnovers. There was a clear signing of two different football teams out there. One that knows how to play defense, and another that, sure, they may know how to play defense, but if your team keeps turning the ball over in the opponent's territory, then you're bound to give up a lot of points defensively, because you have a very short field. But with all that being said, the Ravens dominated the Browns last week, and if you were to ask me if they're going to beat the Steelers this week, oh, hell yeah, they're beating the Steelers this week. The Steelers are coming off of a terrible loss to the Houston Texans, and with all that in mind, I also heard that Kenny Pickett is going to be out. So with Kenny Pickett being injured and out, they're going to be going up against Mitch Trubisky. And Trubisky, although not a bad quarterback by all means, I don't think he's going to be able to save your season now with all that in mind. They are going to be going into Pittsburgh. Since they're going to be in Pittsburgh this week, I'm actually going to go ahead and give the Ravens a win simply because they're the better football team, and then also not to mention the difference of quarterback play. Can I trust Mitch over Lamar Jackson? I really can't. That's the reason why I got the Ravens winning this one.